Hello and welcome to your foam rolling lesson time session with Tessa. All right. So I'm gonna put this down so I don't wave this around. We have our foam roller. I love my foam roller. It's something that I do almost every time I work out, and then sometimes in the interim to help with that muscle recovery, open up that muscle tissue so that we come back with a little bit more range of motion, a little bit more flexibility. It also helps any aches and pains. So usually with clients, like if their lower back's hurting or if their knees kind of bothering them, then typically I'm like, my first go-to is the foam roller, okay? So I haven't worked out today yet. I'm like walking in cold, and I'm actually filming this right before I work out because I'm like, this is something that I do recommend as a little bit of a warm up, and or post workout as well. And then again on recovery days. So you can kind of do this at any time, especially if you're feeling any aches and pains, you're feeling extra sore in your legs. This is going to be mainly for that lower body recovery. So let's get to it. So how I like to start on this thing is having a seat. So you're gonna go ahead and sit on the center of your foam roller. Now, I like this type of foam roller because it's got that pipe in it, so it's not smushy. So if you have like an actual like foam roller, there is a little bit of give, so it's not going to be as intense. Okay, but if you got one of these guys, get ready. All right, so we're sitting on it. I want you to go ahead and cross your right leg over your left. All right, so we're gonna kind of open up that glute, and then I want you to lean over to the right side. So right foot on top of your left. You're gonna lean onto that right glute, and even just sitting here, you might be screaming, and that's to be expected, especially if you haven't been doing this for a while. But then I want you to just roll as high as you can onto that lower back, and then all the way as low as you can. So you're just gonna take that nice wide range. Now you might feel some bumps, you might feel some knots, and typically if you find a knot, you want to just kind of like sit on it and just let that pressure work its way, kind of kneading out that built up muscle tissue. Okay, so I got a spot right there, and I'm just gonna sit on it for a second, and then you want to kind of slowly roll on out. So you want to start on that glute, give yourself maybe 5 to 10 passes. Now, the more you do this, so let's say right today you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life, which I've heard from clients and friends, and this is what I expect. But the more you do it, the more comfortable and the more you work out those knots. And so it becomes a little bit more manageable. All right, so we're leaning on that right side. Now, I want you to go ahead and shift your weight all the way onto the side of your hip, side of your leg, okay? We're gonna bring this, so I've got my right foot here. I'm gonna bring my left foot over, and I'm gonna use this as like an anchor, okay? I'm gonna bring this down to my elbow. I'm actually gonna shift this. I'm gonna shift myself down here. We're gonna roll, okay? We're gonna roll from the top of our hip. So we got the top of our hip here. We're gonna roll down the side of our leg all the way to the knee. So I want you to give yourself a quick pass, quick pass down, and then a quick pass up. So again, you might be feeling knots. You might be like, there might be some like high pitch, right? That's to be expected, especially if you've never done this before. And then you're gonna feel a little like, once you feel that first, so once you do a quick pass forward and back, and then I want you to find those knots, sit on them, and then roll through them. And you might just be rolling from one knot to the next, like I am right now. We're just gonna breathe through it. We're just gonna breathe. We're gonna roll, bringing it all the way down to the knee and all the way back, please. So just like the glute, I like to give myself 5 to 10 passes. And what we're doing is we are rolling out, we're applying pressure to the IT band. You might have heard that term before. And this band connects the top, the very top of your hip, all the way down to your knee. And it assists your quads and your hamstrings with any lower body movement. Ooh, ooh, girl, ooh, ooh, it's burnt, it hurts. I'm a little sore from last week, so I am feeling it. Again, you can use this foot to kind of lean into, so you can take some of the weight off of here, or you can, if you're like, you want some added pressure, you can go ahead and float for the most pressure onto that IT band. Okay, right there. I'm just gonna sit on it, breathe through, and then roll. All right, that's good. That's good. Okay. Staying on the same leg, we're gonna roll out our calf muscle. So this one, you do have to kind of leverage your body up. And we're just gonna roll forward and back. So you can start with just the single leg. If you're like, that's not really, I don't really feel much. You can cross your legs. You have one of two options. One of two, you can just keep your booty on the ground and kind of roll, bend the knees, roll back and forward, or you can lift that booty up, adding a lot more pressure, adding more body weight, and roll out the calves. I like to move from that right leg. So we've been working that right leg. Go ahead and switch legs, and let's move on to the left side. So same thing. You can either lift up that body weight, or you can roll. You can kind of shift your weight to the right, or like angle your leg to the right, roll, and then angle it to the left. And then we're going to move on to the glutes. So go ahead and have a seat onto your left booty cheek. Left leg crosses onto the right. And then we're just going to start rolling out that glute. So going all the way to that lower back and down. Again, it's not going to feel great. You're like, I'd rather stretch, and yes, you will want to rather stretch than roll out, but this is going to get a little bit deeper. So this is in addition to your flexibility, in addition to that stretch, this helps you stretch even further because we're working out a lot of those knots. And what knots are is that muscle tissue kind of ends up rebuilding itself into these little knots. When we have those knots, we lack blood flow. Blood flow is oxygen. It's breathing into that muscle tissue. And when we don't have an oxygen flow there, we limit our range of motion. All right, go ahead and extend that left leg out. Bring that right foot over here. So now we're on the side of our hip. This is my favorite right here, right there at the top of the hip. I can handle that one. So we can start top of the hip. Actually going to scoot down here. We're going to do one quick pass all the way down and all the way up. Let's do it again, actually. Two quick pass, down and up. And then now we're going to move slowly, applying a little bit more pressure if we can. But when we get that blood flow through that muscle, we are able to move more freely. We get that range of motion. And when I even say, we're like, well, why do I care about range of motion? Range of motion is a big, big deal. Range of motion allows you to move in the way that you want to move. It's that more youthful feeling of movement. And when you have a better range of motion, ooh, yep, right there. Remember, we're going to pause when we feel something. We're going to pause. We're going to relax the leg. Kind of release that tension you're squeezing. Relax, and then roll on out of it. Yikes. When we increase our range of motion, we're also increasing the efficiency of our movements. and the effectiveness of our movement. So the more efficient we are, let's say like in our squat, right? We're reaping all of the benefits, not just some, maybe not just some quad burn here, but also here and in the glutes. So we're getting so much more bang for our buck. So instead of having to spend 2 hours in the gym kind of slowly moving around, you can get in a really efficient workout in 45 minutes. So that is the purpose of wanting that range of motion. All right. I think we've done about 10. Okay. You can also, forgot to mention, you can give yourself a lean forward. So you can kind of roll out the top of your IT, and you can also lean back. So you can kind of lean backwards a little bit and lean a little bit more into the hamstring. So if like your hamstrings are extra tight, like actually now that I'm finding this little spot right here, I found a little knot kind of closer to my hamstring on the IT band. And that actually feels really good. So, okay, here we are. All right, we already did the calf. So we're gonna move this onto our back. So again, the foam roller is a little bit more for the legs, but I do like it, especially if you, again, have any lower back tension, even at a desk all day, or like, or you're really sore from lower body day. This one is very simple. All you're gonna do is you really wanna just focus on keeping your back rounded out. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll this onto my lower back. And then I'm just gonna bring it all the way up to my neck. So we're gonna roll, you can just start, again, like one pass down and up. You're just walking your feet forward, walking it back. Now, let's go ahead and get into our lower back just a little bit more. So that foam roller is right underneath that lower back. What I like to do is kind of tilt to the side. So give myself a lean, not a full side lean, but just a little lean. And we're just gonna roll from the top of the lower back to the bottom. Kind of like a nice little massage there. About 5 passes, and then we're just gonna lean to the other side, same thing. And then we're gonna bring this into our mid back. So I want you to bring your hands behind your head and bring your elbows forward, and kind of like you're tucking into a crunch. And you're just gonna roll mid back to the top and back. And then one of my favorite things to do here is to bring this onto the neck. I've got my hoodie on, but laying on your head and kind of shifting your head side to side. It kind of opens up the top of the neck there, and that just feels like a nice little neck massage. All right, and go ahead and roll into your side. You can also bring this here, extend your arm up. You should be able to roll out, kind of get crazy on the floor here. Roll out your lat. So if you feel like your back is really, really tight, like mine is, you can roll this out here. You can either keep your hips on the ground and get that all the way into the shoulder. Ooh, that feels really nice. I actually like that one. Bring this here, other side. When it comes to the upper back, it just feels like a nice massage. I think we're a little bit more used to massaging our upper body, not so much our lower. It's actually a big pet peeve of mine when I go to get massages. It's like they spend so much time on your back, and I'll tell them, like, my legs are tight. They don't spend any time on my legs. So all the way here. Ooh, this shoulder is tight. And up. Now, one thing I don't do this one common, it's not common, but you can bring this onto your quads, but you got to have that upper body strength here to be able to do it. So I have a smaller foam roller, so I'm gonna do one leg at a time. We just get into like a lower plank form, and you can roll down, kind of army crawl down and army crawl forward. So we're applying all that pressure to your quad. And that opposite leg is bent, kind of hip is open to support you. So let me show you this side, so a little bit better. So switching sides. So if I'm at the foam rollers on my right leg, I have my left leg knee out for support, rolling down and up. And again, play around with your angles, get in your body, feel what's right for you. So you can even lean a little bit to the right and hit that quadricep on that right angle there. Or you can lean a little bit to the left, open up your hip a little bit more on that left side, getting that inner quad. Give me one more. Yikes. And then that's it. All right, all right, all right. So thank you so much for doing this with me. This is not supposed to be fun. But what I do want you to do now is go ahead and bring this up to a stand, walk around. And the best way I know how to describe it is it feels like your legs can breathe. So hopefully your legs can breathe, your body feels a little bit more open, and you start to really feel, the more you do this, the more you will feel the benefit. It won't, and the more consistent you are. So if you do this daily or every other day, you'll start to really, you'll get back on it. You'll be like, oh wait, it's not as bad as it was a couple days ago. Your work will pay off on this thing. So, all right. Thank you so much for joining me on this really fun foam adventure. Yes, I did. And I hope to see you again. Do this with me. Throw this video on and, just follow the lead and go through it, kind of breathe through it. And we're going to work these bodies out together. So thank you so much. Like this video if you liked it. Comment. Let me know if you have any questions about the foam roller. And hopefully I'll see you again here real soon. Bye.